you are a 3D artist and a video game designer, so you are an artist by design, which means you tend to like nice things like this thing right here, and we can all agree it's a beautiful thing. However, is this beautiful thing really good for you to use as an artist in terms of a 3D and game design? We will talk about it. Hello guys, this is Adam. Please subscribe and hit the like button. With that being said, this is the M5 MacBook Pro, the 14-inch with the space black color. Yes, I had this hype because I have a lot of thoughts. So since the release, which I believe was in October 22nd, October 23rd is when I got this machine, which means it has been 2 months. It has been nothing but a wonderful machine to use. I have used it to edit videos, and also I have used it to make 3D projects. I even worked on a complete project using Maya through this machine as well. I did a lot of testing in terms of a Blender with rendering and also the viewport and such. And overall, it worked. It was decent, and I even tried to run some projects in relation to Unreal Engine in regard to it. So here is the machine right here. However, do I recommend this machine for you if you are a 3D artist or a game developer? Those are interchangeable, and they can be both true at the same time, or one of them can be true. Now let's tackle the easier path first, which is if you are a game developer. If you are a game developer, probably you're gonna use a Blender, or maybe you will be using Maya, or maybe you will be using ZBrush, which those three software will work just fine on this machine and you will not have any issues with them. Now your issue would lie with Unreal Engine in particular, Unreal Engine 5, or Unreal Engine 4, 4.6 if you are using that, or if you are using Unity. With Unity, it's working. It's definitely working better than Unreal, but the performance is not the best. And then if you want to know more about Unity performance, please check the channel. There are a full breakdown for that software or that engine in a general sense on the channel. You can check that. In terms of Unreal Engine, I have done the same on the channel. You can go ahead and check it. Now it does run, and it definitely run better than it used to, let's say a couple of years ago, but the M5 is not powerful enough. You will be having a lot of issues in terms of performance when you are using Unreal Engine, and it's not only that, you will be having issues where you are actually having a lot of crashes with Unreal Engine 5, and there is a lot of bugs which they are still not worked on fully between Apple and Epic. I cannot with full conscience recommend a machine for a game developer where you will be using Unreal Engine a lot of the time, because if you do and you get this machine based on my recommendation, you will be having a lot of issues. So my recommendation for you if you are a game developer is actually to get a Windows machine, and there are Windows machines that are good, and I do have a few that I have reviewed them here in the channel. You can go ahead and check them, and I will leave a few recommendations for you in the description for you to check out if you are a game developer. So as much as this is a nice machine, if you are a game developer, I do not recommend that, and that is the easier path. Now let's go to the other path, which is if you are a 3D designer or a visual effect artist in a general sense, where you are using Blender, Maya, ZBrush, even render with Arnold or V-Ray or whatever that might be, then this machine is actually perfect and you will not have any issues on that end. Let's say you want to create environments using Maya or Blender, you will be good to go. Let's say you want to use Cinema 4D because you have a lot of motion graphic work, will actually work without issues as well. Let's say, for example, you want to do something related to animation where you will be using Maya to make your animations and then do your keyframes and everything in between. This machine will work just fine and you will be good to go on that. And I do recommend downloading Maya 2023, not 25, if you want to do animations on that machine, because simply the performance is better, and there are videos on the channel making a comparison between Maya the 2025 version and then Maya the 2023 version on the Macs. In a general sense, you can go ahead and check it on the channel as well. General sense, if you want to do anything that is a 3D related, or if you want to do anything that is animation, as I said, or you want to design characters, or you want to design scenes, make full scenes, or whatever that might be, or even if you want to create environments or make locations from objects from real life into a video game, this is perfect because you would work on the object, export it as an FBX, then send it to whomever needs to be. But when it gets to Unreal Engine, that's where you need to change and work on a Windows machine. Again, if you are a game developer, that's where you end up. Now, some of the people, which actually is a workflow that I am adopting a little bit, make everything that I want, for example, the objects or whatever that might be, and then I want to export them, import them into Unreal Engine. And if that's your workflow, then this machine will not work. If your work at all in any shape or form has anything to do with Unreal Engine, this machine is not it. And it's not related to this machine being weak. On the contrary, this machine is actually really good in terms of a performance. It's just that Mac not yet fully compatible or as native with Unreal Engine. So there is a lot of stuff that needs to be worked out between Apple and then Epic, and especially because of the court case that it was between them. Things are, they still have some beef in between them till this day. Probably that's why. But if you are not using Unreal Engine at all, you're only using Maya, you're only using ZBrush, you're only using Cinema 4D, and then you want to render with Redshift or Arnold or Corona or even V-Ray, then this machine is perfect, especially if you are a person who is working on motion graphics and your main software of uses Cinema 4D, and then with Cinema 4D you will be using the render engine Redshift through the Maxon 1 softwares. All of them are native to Apple and all of them run without any issues. If you are an animator, then the path is yes, especially if you are an animator using a Blender and you want to make animations using Blender, and then you would even do your compositing using Blender, you will be good to go. And if you are using Maya with DaVinci Resolve to composite whatever you built using Maya and ZBrush, you will be good to go with that as well. And then if you are working with Marvelous Designer and then you want to make garments, then you would bring those garments, let's say, to Cinema 4D or Maya or even Blender. This machine is perfect and you will be good to go on that end. And if you want to see more of this in the near future, you know what to do.